Hey there, let's talk about scheduling other people's content to your schedule using Tailwind. The most recent information from Pinterest headquarters regarding pinning other people's content is that as a content creator, you don't have to pin that much of curated content. They didn't say that you should only pin your own content, but they did say that you should mostly pin your own content. This is why I recommend you to pin about 80% of your own pins, if you have enough of them, and only about 20% of other people's content. Now, the second important note here, you see, I only speak about scheduling other people's content in Tailwind after you scheduled your own pins. After. And it's because you want first to choose the best time slots for your own pins, and then only when it's done, you can add other people's content to fill in the gaps. Tailwind has a very nice tool which allows you to keep all your boards on track and know which of them have the best virality score, I mean here the average repin counts, and you can also see how many pins you've added to each one of your boards in the last week. Remember that Pinterest wants us to be consistent, right? So using this tool, you can make sure that all of your boards are being updated regularly with new pins. Let me show you how you do it. You need to go to Insights and then click on Board Insights. Now, here you first need to remove the checkboxes from Secret Boards and Group Boards. You want to analyze only the performance of your own boards. So let's see which ones are your best performing boards in terms of virality. Filter the results and then look at the column on the latest pins. If you see that you haven't pinned anything to this one of the best performing boards, you haven't pinned anything in the last week, you should definitely add some pins here. I recommend you to start with the best performing boards because they're already doing great and you want to keep them this way. Once you're done with the best boards, you should look at the boards which are not doing that good in terms of virality, and probably they were abandoned for a while, so you also want to add pins to them. In order to schedule your pins efficiently, I suggest you to use my method. So what you need to do is you choose one board at a time. You choose one board you want to work with and think of adding about 5 to 7 pins to it. We need to go to Pinterest for this, right? So we go to Pinterest and search for the main keyword, which is in the board's title. Let's try this board, for example, slow cooker recipes. So I'm looking for the best pins showing up in the top results for this keyword. Okay, then I just click on this Tailwind icon and I add all the pins to drafts. How do I do it? I just move on through the feed, through the search results, and I just click on each pin that I like. While my Tailwind window is just open here on the side, I don't need to click anything in the Tailwind window. If you remember, we've been doing exactly the same with when we were scheduling our own pins. So every pin that I'm adding this way is automatically going to my drafts. Now 5 pins have been added. Let's go to drafts in Tailwind. All the pins that we just saved are going to the same board, right? Let's take a look at the pin descriptions first. Is everything okay here? You see, I might want to add the keyword slow cooker recipes to some of the pin descriptions if they're not there already. Maybe you could consider adding some hashtags if you want to. And once you're done with the pin descriptions, you just need to schedule the pins. And this method is great because I just saved you about 5 more unnecessary actions because you don't need to add each pin to the board over here. You just need to go to the top right corner and add the board up here. Add the board where all the pins will go. And they will fill in the gaps in your schedule. Most of the times you'll have enough time slots, and the time between the pins is also good, about 10, in my case I think it's about 10 minutes or something, or even more. By the way, if you're adding about 5 pins to each board, I wouldn't worry about the batching effect. First of all, most probably you will have at least 10 minutes break like I have, or even more, between the pins. And second, actually batch pinning of other people's content should not trigger any spam filters on Pinterest, because it's quite a typical behavior of a regular Pinterest user. Imagine you're going to Pinterest and looking for wedding hairstyle ideas or whatever, any other ideas. You're not saving pins to your board as a scheduler would do it 10 times a day, 1 pin an hour. No, you just go to Pinterest and save 10 ideas, 10 pins you liked in a span of 10 minutes or maybe even less, right? So this shouldn't be an issue, batch pinning. And it's quite convenient because you can save them to drafts and just choose the board where they're going, and you don't need to schedule each pin individually. So your homework for this time-saving method of scheduling other people's content is to start with at least 3 best performing boards you have and schedule 5 pins to each of them, so you have these 5 pins working for you the next week. All right, see you in the next video.